two good friends that I met, Jim Cree, Steve Engel at the club, Ore Valley Country Club, immediately came after me to go, and I got to know them pretty well. So it was really in the fire of organizing, though. It did not exist. And I got involved and jumped right in, and first sucker shows up, they grab him. What their basic premise was that law enforcement was inadequate. The sheriffs had it, but of course Pima's a big county, so they didn't have time to do it. Tucson was gritting to annex all this area. Lou Murphy was mayor of Tucson, and they wanted this whole area bad, and people didn't want to get annexed to Tucson, And so those were two motivating factors. You got to remember, Ore Valley, just before it was incorporated, was 1,800 people, and mostly around the golf course and scattered around high school and so on. And not being annexed to being run by downtown Tucson Council was important to the people. One of the criteria we had, the original ones, we would not have a property tax. We could have sales taxes, we could have all the other stuff, but not a property tax on top of it. I think I had a vision of what maybe could happen. In my opinion, when we started this, was to be a bedroom community. And I think that was all of our opinions. Of course, it changed, but if we had the good schools, good law enforcement, our own direction of where we wanted to go, I just felt that was, and my kids were just growing, was very important, and for the future it could be a real, what I used to say, a mini Scottsdale or something. We had a lot of upheaval for a while, and it faded, but there were some guys, a lot of this land was 12 acres, 5-acre plots, horse country. They didn't want any change, and they felt there'd be new development, new regulations for zoning. Because anytime you take on a new project of that type, you're not going to have a complete consensus right away. But we finally did. I'll tell you where we started with the office, if that's interested. Across in this motel. One room we rented, and Lila took shorthand, so she took the minutes, and we started off there. We were there a couple of years, really. And then we made a deal with the CDO High School, and we had our meetings at the library up there. The office was still over here. At the high school, at the meetings, got a little iffy sometimes, and for all people for different reasons. But 2 nights we could have disincorporated. I'd cast the one vote to continue incorporation. I think it was 2-2, or it would have been no town. Well, we got gas tax money in those days, but that wasn't too much because we didn't have that many residents, Our income was very limited in those days. In fact, we were broke. From here to Catalina, there wasn't anything else. We had whatever the country club had for taxes. We had 7-Eleven across the street, and of course high school didn't pay anything. And we had to have a police department. So at the council meeting, to start with, asked me to kind of try to put something together. So we did contract with the county for a while. So we did have some protection, but very light protection. But we eventually then pulled Fred Roof out of rural metro, and he had some training, and we sent him for more training. And that's when my boys and all those other volunteers worked work the streets for him. And but Fred was around. He helped the boys, and then they, of course, started training people. And as we got some money, picked up officers. Very slim. If you had to just kind of pick a theme that all of them had, they all wanted a nice, livable type of environment. And I think it'd be Steve Engel or Jim Cree or any of them, or Twink Monrad or Larry. I think that was, the theme was to put a nice, something packaged together that people could enjoy.